Okay, Mark, take us back to Israel and USS Liberty.
Well, the Liberty incident, a deadly one back in June of 1967, is, of course, a black mark on U.S.-Israeli relations that no one has wanted to talk about in a broad sense where more and more people would know about it. Yeah, there is a Eric Clapton slide that I included in the extras. This is his opinion. People can make up their own mind. He very recently said, of course, he's a British blues and rock musician, a very renowned one. He very recently said that Israel controls the world in many ways, somewhat echoing Pink Floyd's Roger Waters. And so Eric Clapton, who has taken a lot of exception with everyone being called an anti-Semite and all that, he's made a pretty bold statement here about what he sees as overly widespread Jewish and Israeli control of the narrative and so on and so forth, and the injustices in Gaza that he's particularly concerned about. So that's an interesting development. And in terms of the Liberty, I know we mentioned we've got a video that's basically the ballad of the Liberty. Well, it shows the path of the Liberty when it traveled in May of 67 around the top of Africa, through the Mediterranean, over by the Sinai Peninsula where the incident took place. And I'll mention that it was called the ship that wouldn't sink. And the Israeli army and air forces and naval forces that tried to sink it knew full well that it was an American ship, and they didn't sink it, and it still crawled back to port, holes and all, damage and all, deaths and all. An amazing tale of resilience and bravery by the U.S. Navy. And it's something, if it were more widely known across the populations, and that's why I'm presenting it to a mostly British or UK audience today, if it were more widely known, it would be much more difficult for Israel to claim to be such a friend of the U.S., which in turn gives it such incredible amounts, $3.8 billion a year, and that's only the official amount in foreign and military aid. It would be much harder to justify that aid, which therefore enables what's going on in Gaza to happen, if people knew more widely and truthfully about the Liberty. It's a very pivotal issue. And as I mentioned in the main news, that war that the Liberty situation was part of, the Six-Day War, gave Israel control of the West Bank and Gaza Strip in the first place. So with that being said, we can play this brief segment of the ballad.
Oh, glory, she flew over waters of blue and under a cloudless sky. But foul treachery soon colored the sea, and many good men would die. While desperate battle was raging nearby over an ancient land, the vessel's crew members could never have dreamed what others for them they had planned. For hours they came, the Israeli planes, surveying the ship below. That this was the boat of their closest ally was impossible not to know. Yes, oh glory, she flew over waters of blue and under a cloudless sky.